let's talk about the risks to us, because I was saying before we went to break, I worry. I'm not going to lie. I worry about the government spying on my phone and spying on me and knowing exactly where I am. I don't trust them. No, I don't care who's president. I don't trust the government to have all that data about me. Is that crazy paranoia type stuff, or is that something that's a real worry?
It's a real worry, and I share your concern completely, regardless of who's in power. I think a lot of us have seen in the last 10 years that the closeness of the DOJ and the tech companies is a really big concern, and none of us should be comfortable with this. So yeah, the idea that there's all this data out there about us, which can be leveraged in the event of a crisis, or if there's a change of government and policy, suddenly maybe something about us, we're in a group that's not popular. I think we should be concerned about this, especially, Megyn, because of this technical legal issue. The information coming off of our phones is not Fourth Amendment protected. So like if the government wants to wiretap you, there are Fourth Amendment issues there, but they don't need to wiretap you. This is what I think people need to understand. People are worried about the back door. Oh, what if there's like the government sneaks in and monitors my phone? The front door is open. The information from our phones allows us to be profiled and put into groups in ways that are very, very dangerous for us.
What you're saying is if the government, let's say I only had an up phone and I didn't have an iPhone or an Android, then the government would try to get it from like you guys, and it wouldn't be there for the giving. Like they try to get it directly from this phone, but they just couldn't do it.
Correct. So we have no unencrypted customer data at all. So like we have a photo and video storage service similar to iCloud, but unlike Apple, ours is encrypted from us. So if the government says, hey, Joe, give me Megyn's photos because she has an up phone, I don't have the photos. There's nothing for me to give in the case of photos. Wow. Yes.
Megyn, we've already gotten law letters of federal agencies coming to us saying we need access to this device.
Yes.
And we say we have nothing to give you because we don't have the keys. And they said they've used every means at the U.S. government's disposal, the DEA, the DOJ, the Secret Service, and beyond, and they couldn't get it. So, look, we take digital privacy very seriously. We take the First Amendment and the Fourth Amendment. That's why this phone exists, is to protect individual data sovereignty.
The news just today is full of a story of Jack Smith working while he was at the DOJ as a special prosecutor, working with the phone companies to subpoena all this data of Republican senators and lawmakers. Now, that's a different way of getting after it. That did require a grand jury to say, yes, you can have this data. But I mean, the point is simply that government will work against you if you piss them off enough. That was just Republican senators who did nothing. Like, it was just Republicans around J6th. It's not like, oh, we saw you organizing J6th. Even if they had seen that, it would have been problematic. But I mean, Joe, this is not a figment of our imagination.
No, it's happening all the time. So I think we don't realize how big this problem is and how frequently it's happening. And what you're describing is not just the phone data, but the cell carrier data, which is what was discussed here in this recent case, which is another separate terrible issue. Mm-hmm. This is separate from the phone, but this is just basically if you've got a phone, its location is permanently being tracked by all the cell carriers, and that information is available going back permanently. So are your call records and any SMS messages you send. Even the content of the SMS messages are saved by the phone company. So this is something else we've been working on. We're actually really excited to announce
I always wondered
a new
that.
product.
Is that true? The phone companies, they have all your texts like on record?
Yes, SMS messages. So this is why we're focusing on solving this problem as well. We just created a new product with a mobile network called Pond. So it's a data-only SIM for your phone. So you can make calls on Signal or other apps like that, but it doesn't make phone calls because those phone calls would be kept by the phone company. So this is a data-only SIM, and unlike normal cell products where your location of your phone is being kept forever, Pond deletes your location information every 24 hours. So there's just a 24-hour buffer of where your phone has been. But if the government goes to them and says, hey, where was Joe's phone? They just don't know. So the way to think about these risks, it's like a diamond with many surfaces. And what we're trying to do is basically increase protection on each surface of the diamond. There are many ways that we can be vulnerable to government surveillance and tracking. And we're talking about ways to improve your chances in each of these areas.
Now, Eric, what if you wanted to track your kid? You know, like I know there's Life 360 and there's all the different apps where you can have your kid turn on his location services or join the app, and then you as the parent can find him. Is that something you can do on the Up phone, or is that, no, that's contrary to the entire purpose of the Up phone?
I will defer to Joe on that question. What I will say is, we actually have a kill switch on this device, which physically separates air gaps the battery from the electronics, so that off actually means off. Your phone you can't turn off now. We also have a.
What do you mean I can't turn it off? Even when I totally power it down?
When you power it down, it's still pinging towers. It's still pinging Wi-Fi, building that digital breadcrumb trail of wherever you've been, that advertising ID following you around. 100%. So this phone also has a just in case feature. If someone says, Megan, give me your phone, I'm here to inspect it, you can say, sure, officer, you can unlock it with a certain code, and it's an instant hard wipe. You have another feature.
Okay, yes. Are we worried at all that this is going to get in the hands of like true criminals and terrorists who are going to use this? It sounds like it could be used for nefarious purposes too.
Certainly we don't want to support bad guys, but I think our founders addressed this issue. Right? Like our legal system is designed to protect innocence. And they said at the time, like, whoa, bad guys are going to take advantage of this. And they said, you know what? To have the society is at much greater risk if citizens aren't protected from the government than if citizens can get away with things on an individual basis. So our perspective is we support law enforcement completely all the way because law enforcement protects our constitutional rights. And we've designed our product to protect constitutional rights. So yeah, the way to think about these risks, Megan, is it's like a pyramid. Eric is a unique person who's probably at the top of the pyramid. There are probably many people who are trying to get into his phone and find his location. And for someone like him, having an actual off switch for the battery is really important because he needs to go into situations where the phone can't emit any electricity at all, right?
Well,
and where sensors
I've had the scenario in meetings with important people where, I have my phone and I turn it off, like entirely off. And yet you do wonder, who's in there? Is there a government in there? I mean, I've met with Vladimir Putin. I've prepared for meetings with Vladimir Putin, with Prime Minister Modi of India, like with President Trump. And I always think before these things, like, you'd be stupid if you were China or someone else not to try to go in. I'm probably an easy access point, right? Probably easier than Putin or Trump. If you could get into my phone and turn on a microphone, that'd be really convenient. So, I mean, I would love to have battery off and no one can even potentially be listening through anything that's on me.
We can even do simple things like shut the microphone off, shut the camera off, the GPS, the Wi-Fi, the touch to pay, all those features hard off at the root level that off means off.
Yes. Well, the other thing is, I always worry about airplane mode because you see these studies every once in a while about like, if your kid's walking around with that phone in his front pocket and he's 13 years old and he's got another, 80 years of walking around with that thing, it can reduce sperm count. It can potentially cause problems that we haven't. I don't know whether this is true, but you see the warnings all the time. You see an article about it. But if you truly have the ability to just turn it off when you're not using it, actually off, that seems much better.
It's great to be able to physically turn it off. And like, we're not motivated for customers to use the phone, right? Every other phone provider is motivated financially for people to use the phone more. We have no financial interest in usage. So we want you to turn it off when you want to turn it off. We also have this feature, which I love. I think you would really like this too, which is it shows me the time since my last unlock.
Oh, so that is good.
I love this. And I'll tell you why this is so great. Because I have a problem. I'm a busy guy. I use my phone way too much. I have 6 kids. I have a beautiful family. My wife is the best. And I sit down at dinner and I look at my phone to see, do I have an email? How's that deal going with Verizon? Whatever, right? This is a problem for me. I love having a phone that encourages me not to pick it up. So with this feature, I put my phone in the pocket. Same thing at church, right? I go to church and I'm like, I don't want to look at the phone. But because of this, I know I'm like building up time. We call the feature time away. Instead of screen time, which is about your phone, we call it time away. It's about you. So here I get to go to dinner with my family and know like when I pick this phone up, it's going to say it's been like 90 minutes since I opened it. And I'm going to feel so great about that. And it really helps me in my family, in my day-to-day life, right? Like, so I think your point is, pardon me.
Like you can still use everything on this phone that you could use elsewhere. Like, can I still use Google or can I still use, X or if I wanted to use TikTok?
We have, yes, we have 10,000 native apps, and we also have access to all the apps that are in a Google Play Store. They're just going to behave a little differently because they're not giving you the super customized experience. So again,
they're going to try, but they won't be able to.
Let me clarify this issue a little bit. So what we do is, like, I have YouTube on this app, on this phone, and I sign into it, and I stream your show, and it's just like normal YouTube, right? I sign in with Google. I'm fine with this. But my phone doesn't have Google mobile services. So what we're balancing is allowing people to have normal consumer experiences with their phone without having this crazy data leakage. Mm-hmm. So to answer your question, yes, all the normal apps work, and I use them just like every day. So I use YouTube. I even use Google Maps. I turn on location when I want to use Google Maps. It's a great map product. Oh. And, I'm fine with my location being known by Google for that drive that I'm having to take, and then I turn it off. So all of the normal stuff, the day-to-day stuff, is just like an ordinary phone. The change is I'm actually using less data because my apps are not streaming all of this unnecessary information about me to third-party servers.
Battery must last a lot longer.
Correct. Yes. So you'll notice this. We actually have done recent tests. I don't know if this is wild. We had a cybersecurity firm compare this issue between an iPhone and our phone. And they watched, it just took 1 hour, a phone with 33 apps, the same apps, all the apps you use, like Spotify, Pinterest, whatever. And they just watched the network traffic. And the iPhone made 3,100 calls in that 1 hour that our phone did not make. Our phone did not call any data harvesters. The iPhone, even when Ask App Not to Track was selected, made 3,100 calls to known data harvesters. And get this, Megyn, in those 3,100 calls, it transacted 210,000 packets of data in 1 hour. That's 60 packets of data. Yeah, that's 60 packets of data per second on a phone with just 33 apps. Meaning,
what's it telling them? I mean, if you're just sitting here, you're not doing anything. What is it telling them that that amount of data in an hour?
When you have like a kid and they go from like toddler and they start getting a little more independent and they want to see that you're there all the time. I have, dad, yeah, hey, I'm here, buddy, I'm here. The apps are like that. They're like ravenous for transmitting your location. They're basically just constantly phoning home going, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. Because your real-time location, you got to think about it in detail. One of the most valuable signals is, the simple feature that determines whether your phone is in profile or landscape to like read an article, how you're holding the phone. That's a very important signal that every app has access to. And that can tell a data harvester, is this person moving? Are they stationary? Are they laying down? Are they running? All of this is very valuable when you're building a profile. So the apps are just completely dedicated to transmitting this information to data harvesters at this insane rate. I mean, that's over 60 times per second that this test showed that these packets were moving, which is just wild.
Eric, this was meant to be, given your security background and Joe's background at Apple and his growing unhappiness with working for that company. This seems like a match made in heaven. I mean, do you even have an iPhone now? Do you have a second phone that's connected to all of this stuff or no?
No, I've pretty much shifted digital life fully to Unplugged.
And is it working okay? You said it's in beta. Does that mean people can't buy it yet, or where is that?
You can buy them today at unplugged.com.
You can. Okay. So, and
we're
do they
also
have to
in
buy
Best Buy, Megyn.
Is it a plan like you'd get an AT&T or whatever Verizon phone service?
So we're on AT&T and T-Mobile and all the MVNOs. We're working with Verizon right now, but we're with those two major networks. So if you're on Verizon, you can move your number to AT&T or T-Mobile. And it just works like any normal phone. We ship them. We have a great US-based customer service support team to help you set up your phone and transfer your data from your iPhone to the Up phone. It's really easy. It takes about a half an hour. They're great, by the way. Everyone loves them. I get a million emails a day about this. So yeah, it's super easy. Unplugged.com. We're also in Best Buy, which is a great partner for us as well.
That's good. Yeah.
And we're also delivering to Canada and to the UK now, and
Correct.
soon to mainland Europe.
Well, they definitely need it because their governments are way nosier than ours. And I'm not saying something,
Indeed.
But the UK has absolutely no respect for anybody's privacy. Neither does Canada. All right. So now you guys actually are advertising on the Megyn Kelly Show, but that is not why we did this segment. I know Eric a little bit, and I think this is a great idea. I've actually been worrying about this in my own life for a bunch of reasons lately. So I love this. It's like necessity is the mother of all inventions. Did you know gold is up around 40% this year? That's not speculation, it's reality. And if a portion of your savings is not diversified into gold, you are missing the boat. Here are the facts. Inflation is still too high. The US dollar is still too weak, and the government debt is still growing. This is why central banks are flocking to gold. They're the ones driving prices up to record highs. But it's not too late to buy gold from Birch Gold Group and get in the door now. Birch Gold will help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into one in gold. You don't pay a penny out of pocket. Just text MK to 989898 and claim your free info kit. There's no obligation, just useful information. The best indicator of the future is the past, and gold has historically been a safe haven. Text MK to 989898 right now to claim your free info kit on gold. MK to 989898. Protect your future today with Birch Gold. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.